Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be kind of comparing the Armshark Tsunami and the Armshark Replicant. You know, both of Armshark's probably current highest end titanium trainers, other than kind of the Gale and the Sentinel. But I say probably the most popular. Ooh, I forgot how good this thing sounds. Thanks to clone support for the tune-up. But yeah, I really just wanted to be kind of taking a look at these two balisongs and kind of see how they compare to each other, because I think they're actually not similar. I mean, they're very different, but I think they're both really cool. They're both really cool balisongs. I forget now that I'm on 1.5, as loads of you guys have asked, and we'll see about color grading this video, because I think that's a pretty cool little thing I could probably do. You know, put this up through Lightroom or whatever. But yeah, so these are both made with predominantly grade 5 titanium, or TC4, same thing. You know, so this is Sandwich, and this is Sandwich. So now we just need a channel one, right? So just get the Sentinel or the Gale, and then we have all the three kind of construction styles. Now, weight-wise, this guy is about 130 odd grams, and this dude, from kind of just eyeballing it, it feels kind of like 115, 116. It's lighter than a Kraken, but I think it's a little heavier than the one Tsunami, but don't quote me on that. One Tsunami is like 113 or so. It just feels a little heftier. It could just be the weight balance. But yeah, this is pretty close to a real Tsunami weight-wise. Oh my goodness. It's like a slippery one standing up. But yeah, no, this I also really like. This guy is obviously G10 scales and has interchangeable scales with any actual rep scales, and also with the spacers. And you can actually put some Bali Plus Blaze on here, which I think is pretty cool. Although I think this definitely works the best as just a stock, flipper. I've had this tuned up. Well, I didn't have it tuned up, but clone support kindly tuned this up for me. And it's so much bouncier than before. So I might actually send him that, and see if he can tune this up as well to sound just as beefy. I've done a little bit of tinkering with the stuff on it, but I've not, changed any of the bushings. Just, having everything screwed on super tight, as well as putting in the new set of washers has definitely made this sound better. This isn't as loud. It's definitely, it's a pretty quiet balisong. It's a good sound. It's a comfortable volume level. You're not going to be getting tinnitus from it. It sounds really good, though. This also sounds absolutely incredible. And I mean, also sounds pretty close handle to handle, which is something, not many balisongs do very well. Yeah, they both flip really well. The balances on them are actually fairly similar. Yeah, I'd say the balances are actually somewhat similar, with this just having a bit more end weight. So this feels a little bit more like if you were to put maybe 1 or 2 weights, not quite as the same as if with the 3 weights, but if you were to put 1 or 2 weights in here in the Tsunami, it would flip a bit closer to this. This just sounds menacing, man. Honestly, I was considering getting rid of this guy, but now that she's tuned up, this might be a keeper. Get rid of the Cygnus instead, because the Cygnus, even with a great tune, I know it's just I just prefer how this flips. But this is not about the Cygnus. No, yeah. So this is definitely just a bit heftier, although it actually doesn't feel as heavy as before when I first got it. And I definitely think if you want to upgrade, or just modify slightly, I might get some channel spacers from clone support, from Phoenix Designs, I should say. I'm definitely considering kind of getting some of those for this guy to just make the sound that little bit beefier. But for sure, I really like the sound of this. This might arguably sound a little better, at least for my taste. I prefer, well, maybe not prefer, but I really like this kind of clunky sound, right? This sounds like it's like a tool, like designed to like just demolish through stuff, whereas, you know, this feels a bit more Grail-like in its sound. You know, it feels a bit more artistic. You know, I definitely think... No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a Hellbent. But yeah, I really like the sound of this. It's also lighter, so it's just not going to have the same impact. There's also that. But I think for the weight, this thing does sound pretty damn good. And I also really like the balance without the inserts in, without any weights in. I've tried the weights in. They feel a bit funky. To be honest, there's not enough tip weight for the weights. And I think without the weights, I think it flips the best. Maybe with one weight is probably like the best compromise. It would between like it sounding better and it flipping a little more handle biased. I wouldn't really go for all three. Maybe two works as well. I can't remember if I've tried that. I think I've tried two and I've tried three. Or maybe I've tried 1 and 3. I can't remember exactly. I need to try them again for like the full review of this guy. But if I could stop dropping them, that would be nice. One thing, obviously, the Replicant is going to be grippier just because it's G10. However, the cutouts here really are really quite grippy. And honestly, the sides are also reasonably grippy for the titanium, right? Considering it's a polished one, right? This is the polished, not the DLC. The DLC will be slightly grippier. And honestly, this thing is super nice. This is probably a mainstay in my collection now. It's very much so a keeper. It's one of those where this is kind of my go-to trainer. If I can ever bring myself to beat this, I know it can definitely take a beating. It feels super durable, in the same way that this guy also feels super durable. So balance-wise, if I were to show you here, you can see it's a light handle bias. It's the same thing with this guy here. It's slightly less of a handle bias, you know, but it is a light handle bias nonetheless. And obviously the weight is slightly focused towards the end due to the spaces on the rep and these pivot screws here that hold the side channels together. Tolerances wise, I mean, it's Arm Shark. I don't even think I'd need to really go over this, but, you know, people like to see it, right? This still has insane tolerances. They've loosened up a little bit. That's to be expected. There's this guy. Oh, maybe the teensiest bit of tab. I could probably tune that out. And then more play, but that's expected from a sandwich belly. They both feel absolutely incredible in the hand. Yeah, definitely this guy is grippier. And I think he flows a little easier, a bit more beginner friendly, because of the weight at the ends of the handles. So chaplains will be that little bit stickier. Fans will be a little easier to engage. That's just due to it having a bit more end weights. Okay, I guess unless you do that. But definitely, once you get used to lighter balisongs, this also does them equally as good. Fans are effortless. Rollovers doesn't quite do them for you. I think you have to guide it a little more with rollovers. Not so much how the fans are very effortless. Not as effortless as the one Tsunami, but definitely super, super easy to initiate. And then chaplains, a little trickier because of the lightweight. You know, it'll do backwards chaplains. It'll even do reverse chaplains, which I can't do forever. I can do a few of them in a row and then it kind of just falls apart. And even like, you know, chokers, easy peasy. Aerials. Both of these knives, super predictable for aerials, right? Oh, okay. I want it to spin around more than once, but you know, if you want to just do like an ice pick, even from closed, super predictable. Same thing with this guy. Let me put the Tsunami down. Same thing with this guy, right? Super predictable. If anything, this guy's a little more predictable, but that's literally just because of the weight. The extra weight kind of just helps stabilize this guy a little more. You know, your inputs, I guess, will go further. But this guy dropping on your foot definitely does hurt more. Yeah, I just dropped him now, and yeah, it's noticeable. It's, you know, 20 grams heavier, 20 grams heavier, so somewhere in that ballpark. But no, honestly, if you want modification, go for this, and if you want more of a beginner balisong, definitely go for this. This can take some beating, obviously has interchangeable parts with other things you can find, whereas kind of the Tsunami, well, the Tsunami can also take a bit of a beating as well. If anything, more than this in the long run, without actually having its tolerances and whatnot affected. And this is a bit of a nightmare to tune, if you don't know, kind of, or if you're scared or intimidated, you know, taking this apart, you know, tuning it, cleaning it, can be a bit more intimidating. Whereas, you know, Sandwich, it's pretty much 1 screw, 2 screw, and you just lift this off. You don't have to do any of this weird shimmying, you just lift this off, and everything kind of stacks on. This is like a Lego to put together, which I super, super love, right? Like, it's just awesome how easy Sandwich designs are. Same thing with my Serif, right? Easiest knife to put together. Just because of the Sandwich design structure, it just comes apart in a similar way that the Rep does as well. However, with the Rep, I don't like disassembling it like that because it's a pain to get the tune back to good tolerances if you do take it apart like that. Whereas with this, it's kind of set. One thing I was surprised though when I've taken this apart is that these grooves are like perfectly flat. There is no like interlocking bits. However, there's also no gaps, so I guess their surface grinder is it's really solid, you know, really straight, really good tolerances, because I've not seen any visual gaps from, like, you know, holding it up to the sun and seeing if you can see little tiny light pockets, I should say, which is very impressive. So, and especially how it holds sound as well. I think if they had done some interlocking patterns, you could have got the sound a little louder, or a little more tactile. But the hardware on this is solid. The hardware on the Rep is also really solid. Maybe the T8 screws aren't my favorite. That's just because they're T8. But, you know, real Rep has same thing kind of going on. I really like the Tanto blade of this. This will fit live blades. So far that doesn't. So if that's what you want, you know, that's kind of what you should go for. But material-wise and build quality-wise, they're both absolutely phenomenal. Sound-wise, you know, we'll just give you a quick ice pick. This is definitely the quieter of the two, but this isn't, the Rep isn't so loud that it's harsh even at nighttime. But this is definitely my nighttime flipper of choice. It would have been the Monarch, but my Monarch is a bit out of action, which is a bit unfortunate. I'm very sad about that, actually. So yeah, the Monarch is kaput. But, well, it's not quite kaput. It's probably salvageable. I'll see what I can do with it. But yeah, no, this thing, super awesome. I really like both of them. What's my favorite? I think I'm going to stick with the Tsunami because it kind of feels a little more premium than the Rep does. Maybe it's just because it's titanium versus G10. But, you know, I'm flipping the Rep quite a lot as well. And I mean, this thing feels really good. Once you've worn these things in, once you've broken them in, they feel really, really solid. You know, G10's super soft. You know, it's grippy. You can do this with, like, you can use G10 with any condition of hand, maybe unless your hands are like super dry and then it's a little slippery. But, you know, if your hands are wet, oily, whatever, like, you know, clammy, whichever, right, whatever condition your hand can be in, I imagine G10 is just going to grip absolutely phenomenally. Especially on this, it's quite a nice G10, and it's got a pretty cool texture on it. The 0.5 camera doesn't pick it up super well, and this video is getting too long, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. But yeah, no, I think these are super cool. So yeah, pick between your favorite visual inspection between these two guys, and you know, go get them. I mean, this is more expensive. but I do think that will probably end up lasting longer than this will in the long run. And yeah, that's been me, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. You know, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how the video was, what I can change, what I can improve. Share the video, you know, get the views up, get the watch time up. You watch time kings, you know, thank you guys if you've already made it, 15 minutes to the end of the video. Let me know down in below, because you guys are the real MVPs of the channel. You bring the average watch time up, which helps me bring more content to you, which is super cool. I'm sure you guys want to keep having content. Yeah, but I will see you guys in the next one. Check out my music, follow the Instagram or whatever. I'm not really very active on Instagram, but new music coming eventually, so I'll definitely see you guys in the next one, and I'll catch you all later.